So we're talking about our ideas today, and obviously we've all created 3 ideas of our own for a youth TV show. My first idea was a comedic show called Vegemite Shorts.
Nice name.
It's based on sketches and original sketches and parodies of popular things like, let's say, Gordon Ramsay's, Hell's Kitchen, The Office, all those big established shows, past, present, parodies of that, and obviously original sketches. So
how short are you thinking?
The whole show or the segments?
The segments.
Both I'd say.
The whole show I'd say 5 to 15 minutes because, if you want more than one, then it's going to take more than 5 minutes. So.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want it too long, but you obviously don't want it too short.
Yeah.
So I think a question asked to all of you is comedy. How much has it changed in the sense of how offensive things can be now, or what's too far in comedy now? Because obviously you have that argument, people say nothing's too far, but on the other hand some people would go, there is a line and you should not cross it.
It's strange because in the 60s and 70s and stuff, comedy was at a level and then there were controversial points and it went up and up and up, and now it got to the point where it went flat for a while and people were still worried about what to say, and then in our generation there was a huge spike in offensive and dark humour and stuff, and now that's gone straight back down because of loads of minorities speaking up, which isn't a bad thing, but comedy is comedy, not.
It's gone both ways, isn't it? Because on one hand, for example, homophobia, racism, I can understand why people don't want to see that in comedy, but on the other hand, any joke is not every joke is offensive, and if you're looking for stuff to be offended, then that's another issue in itself. So
it's not made to ridicule them either. It's made to make light of it.
Yeah.
Which is the basis of comedy, bringing light to things. No matter what it is, you're bringing a funny side to something somehow. Even if it's an orange, do you know what I mean? Make something funny out of it.
That's the annoying orange right there.
I guess political correctness kind of like people want to bring that in. They go like, oh, that's too far. But once you start bringing that into comedy, that's where it all just kind of like. It just gets a bit screwed.
Another question I ask, because it's quite important, because there's a few shows like it. Profanity. Do you need profanity to make a show funny? And does comedy need to rely on profanity to be funny? Because there's shows like South Park which rely fully on profanity, and without profanity the show would be very unfunny. Same as Family Guy.
It's the basis of the show is
obviously
explicit.
Same as what's a real life one? Not the In-Betweens, I think the show's funny without its profanity.
Little Britain? I know that's not like, it's kind of like a comedy sketch.
That's funny. It doesn't have much, it uses profanity, rarely, but does it, would it be better, that's what I mean though, would profanity make a show funnier in any way, or would it sort of...
It depends on what's going on in the scene. You've got to make it in a way so it doesn't seem like they're using it like normal language, do you know what I mean? Because that's the whole point of profanity, is to make an exclaim, like a statement. You're not just saying something, you're saying it's really something, do you know what I mean? So in comedy you've got to use it at a good time. I think there's a time for it, but when you do use it in a good time it can be effective. I mean, even bleeping is, you can...
That's even funny at some point.
Yeah, bleeping is funny because you know what they've said.
Yeah.
If it fits in with the context of the show, then it's fine.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to put it in for no reason. But if it fits with the scene, with the character and everything, then that's... I mean, if it doesn't fit with the scene and the character, that can be funny as well, do you know what I mean? But it doesn't need,
it doesn't need to rely on it. It can be fine without profanity.
So my final question for my first idea is, for you personally, all 3 of you personally, so I'll go around each one, what makes a comedy funny to you? Or in any way, what makes it funny to you?
What makes comedy funny to me?
Comedy shows, stand-up, anything. What makes comedy funny to you?
Being able to watch something and get a serious message from it, and then see a comedy bringing something lighter out of that. And obviously, in a comedy, I want to laugh. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be based on humour. I want to keep laughing. I can find something funny and I actually laugh, just sitting, have a little smile or whatever. But if a show is making me laugh. Like every line they say is funny. I think you just need to keep it at the same, keep it flowing basically, but don't have it so you're constantly throwing stuff in to try and make it funny. Just have it flowing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think.
It's got to have good delivery as well. So like, if a line obviously is said, like it needs to be delivered well. If someone kind of does it in the wrong way, that's kind of not even just awkward and embarrassing, but like, it's just kind of like, haha, like I'm only laughing just so it's not like
awkward.
Yeah. If a line's delivered like quite well, then you can tell it's been effective. And like
it's the same with music, isn't
it?
You can say an impactful lyric, but if someone's really going in and delivering it to you hard, then it hits you a lot more than just it on its own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like comedy, like you've got to make sure it works. If something doesn't work, then you're not going to get the laughs. You're not going to get people wanting to carry on watching it, and especially because a lot of people can talk about it as well. So if you're around people that have watched the thing that you've watched, you could be like, oh, that joke I found really funny, but there's some of it you could be like, oh, it might not have been so funny. So you definitely need like a wide range of people being like, oh, some of it's funny, some of it's not so funny. Because if it just doesn't work, then it wouldn't work at all.
It kind of depends what audience I really go for, because there's one audience that will love profanity in every sentence. There's another one that's all got that kids kind of humour to it. So anything falling, like you've been thrown sort of style comedy, where they fall over.
That's where you got to meet in the middle, though.
And then obviously you've got the one I like a lot, which a lot of people either like, is like losers or people with bad lives when their bad situations are making you laugh, because it makes you think your life could be worse than be these characters.
Yeah.
That's why I like things like The Office, like Community, stuff like that, because it's based on characters.
Yeah,
which
it makes light out of
and
also shows. It gives a serious message saying that no one is a perfect person. Everyone's gonna have a really embarrassing moment at some point.
Yeah. I've got a question actually. Like, what type of comedy do you want to see? Because there's stand-up, so like Michael McIntyre, Jimmy Carr, and then you've got your skits, like so Little Britain, like little segments.
Mitchell
like,
Webb, my guys.
Sketch. What are you gonna do? Like,
sketchy is 100% parodies, and also I want to do a roasting session with everyone. Everyone, no one is safe. Everyone's going to be involved in some way. Even the tutors. Like literally, I think that one would work well. Even if the roast ain't good, it's a brilliant concept for students. And students are gonna, as long as the insults are hurting. I think the main thing is it's not meant to be funny. As long as they're hurting the person. I mean that's the whole point of a roasting session.
But then there's that fine line between funny and actually hurting
rude,
someone.
I think the
problem
with roasting sessions is there is no line. You can go as hard as you want, and I've always believed that. So when someone goes hard on me in a roasting session, I'm going to allow it, because as a roasting session is, if you're offended, you've lost already.
Yeah, if someone says something on a level to you, then they're not. They're expecting you to do better.
Yeah, so you've got to go harsh. But that's my first idea. Second idea was electronic law, based on electronic music. I don't think many people know, but near enough most music comes into electronic. Techno, drum and bass, dubstep, dance, electro house. Some of the main pop songs are basically EDM. So, electronic dance music. So that was based on the history of electronic music and also the current news of electronic music. This idea wasn't amazingly developed, but my question would be, like electronic law. Like, if you like electronic music, if any of you do, like on history-wise, would you like to see the history of EDM, like electronic dance music in general, or the artists?
I'd like to see a bit of both. Like, have the timeline of it all, and then stick some big influential artists in there, like Daft Punk, Fatboy, and all sorts, and because people know them as well, so that can can bring in a bit of relatability, I suppose.
I was gonna say also, like, maybe you could talk about how it's evolved, like, over the years. So not just history, but if you think, probably back in, like, let's say the 70s, they always had, like, vinyls, cassettes and everything. But now there's YouTube, and when people, like, go to, like, parties and sessions and stuff, obviously they just go to YouTube, search a playlist on, like, Jump Up D&B. So you can talk about how different people sort of utilise it. Because I'm sure people have heard drum and bass. Even if they don't listen to it, they just know of it, or they've heard it like in the background for whatever reason. So maybe just kind of bring that more to
The
life.
thing is, electronic music's in most genres.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even if you're not listening to DIM, you're listening to techno at a nightclub, or you're listening to dubstep on your phone with your
Yeah,
friend.
like that, yeah.
It's all electronic music. Anything that is the whole point of electronic music is from the electronic computers. So that's the whole point of electronic music.
I think as well, if you're going to do a history, I think it'd be good to focus on where it started up until recent times. But I think the recent last 20 years have been, well, last 30 years I'd say, has been like super impactful because of technology. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're going to focus on that, you can focus half on like, you know, even 1960 to 90, but then another half just on this short period, I think, because this is really where, I mean, from the 90s, so many drummers have come out and they like, you know, standard EDM, drum and bass, jungle, all these genres have been birthed in the last 30 years. It's great.
So that's second idea. I don't want to carry on that on too long. So my third idea was it was called Played On Side. So yeah, it looks like I've stolen it from Soccer AM. Yep, you're absolutely correct. And obviously it'd be like a quiz show, game highlights, have guests on obviously, and obviously talking about football in general.
So a bit
my
like
question-
football celebrity juice in a way.
Not celebrity
Where it has,
juice,
like-
because we ain't got celebrities first of all. Second of all, wouldn't be like celebrity juice, because celebrity juice is just weird and it's just random. It'd actually be about football generally. Like maybe score a few goals, like actually kicking the ball in a goal. Obviously stuff like knowledge about football. Obviously that's what typical football quiz shows do. Like a league of their own, or Soccer AM. But my question to all of you is, if I was to do a football show, what would be the most appealing thing to that audience? What would I have to look for in an audience?
In terms of like what they like within football or the actual.
What would they like to see in a football show that hasn't been done already? Is probably my question.
I
I'd
should
ask.
ask him, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say probably do like not even a questionnaire, just a short little like survey, I guess, of like maybe just a couple main teams just to see like where everyone is and then what they would like to see, because already in a football show like Match of the Day, Soccer AM, there's a lot, like the format is pretty much the same. There's always the highlights, like recent activities, like any celebrities, like what they're doing, this and that. So probably ask that bit of the audience so you can really get like authentic answers, and then from there you can work on it.
I definitely think you should try and do something new that hasn't been thought of before. So maybe look at football shows over time and see what they haven't done. Like you can see what they have done, but see what they haven't done. Maybe there's just that little bit missing that will spark you up.
If looking for something new for a football show is a barrel, I'm scraping the tiny little skin at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because
But
I
you-
should
you-
look. Yeah.
You
definitely.
could find a like 500 note at the bottom of the barrel. You never know.
Yeah.
See, with me, like, I'm not interested in football. If football is on, I will literally just walk straight out the room.
See, so
Like,
am I.
so-
That's
I guess
why
that's
you've got
the
to find
audience.
something.
That's the
Yeah.
audience.
You've got to
Obviously,
try.
the audience would be obvious would be football. However,
You've got to appeal to
However-
people
Yeah,
that
you've
don't
got to
like
appeal to
football.
people that
However-
don't like football.
well, I don't know, because like I think people who don't like football will dislike it regardless if someone's appealing to them. I
Yeah,
think
but then you
True.
could change their opinion.
I was
on
good,
football.
yeah.
I don't know about
If there's
that.
that one thing that is like
If
that
I-
you might have done and that's never been done
Yeah.
before, maybe people will be like, oh, that's, even if they still have no interest in
Even if
football, they
they
might
just
be
like
like,
the
oh, that's
concept
what
of it,
yeah.
yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
good
if
idea.
I made it really, if I make it interesting, I think regardless if you like football or not, it will be interesting in itself
Yeah.
because
Mm.
I think there's things. Like, I don't know why I'm using this as an example, but if there's been shows like cooking shows, and I normally hate them, but if there's something interesting about them, there's times I've watched MasterChef because it has been actually entertaining to watch, and I generally hate that show. But
You've
when
got
there's
to
something
get it to,
actually
like-
interesting happening, you generally get glued to it regardless if you like that subject or not. So maybe you are right in the sense of if I find something interesting for everyone and not just football fans, then it won't just be football fans that like it, it'll be non-football fans that
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Maybe some
Right.
soccer might do that well in the sense of they get non-football fans over through their sort of the skits, the sort of training courses, the guests, like some of the musicians that go on there, like they're fans of them musicians or them guests. So that's the thing I should look for.